Sustaining podcast growth week after week is really hard. And while there are plenty of consultants and plans and methods out there that promise to fix it for you, the root cause may be something frustratingly simple. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Why isn't my show growing? We hear quite a lot. Which translates to, why has my show's audience growth hit a plateau? And can I fix it with some marketing? Well, maybe you can. Maybe some marketing would help you. Who knows? Maybe more social media posts would be just the thing to give you another bump in your listenership. Or maybe just doing a better job of posting content on social media might bring audiences, an additional audience to your show. Maybe what you need is a big name guest. That's the secret. Or maybe you need a provocative topic, something that will attract more people to your show. Or maybe you think I need to be a guest on more podcasts. Podcast listeners listen to other podcasts. Why not? That makes sense to me. Oh, maybe I'll buy some advertising. That's the thing. But I'm not going to waste any money. I'm smarter than that. I'm going to buy ads only on podcast apps. Or maybe I'll buy ads on other podcasts with audiences similar to mine. And you know what? I hear now that Spotify now lets podcasters spend relatively small amounts of money to advertise all over their app. Well, maybe that'll work for me. Well, you know what? Maybe some of those tactics are going to work for you. I mean, heck, maybe all of them are going to work for you. But then again, they might not. And chances are, unfortunately, none of them are going to work for you. Either not at all, or maybe not as much as you had hoped for. Because if it were easy to keep growing your audience month after month, wouldn't you already be doing it? I mean, really, if it was as simple as following a recipe, wouldn't every show keep seeing growth? But you and I know they don't. Just like yours might not. And heck, as mine doesn't grow month over month. So what's really happening when a show has hit that plateau? Have you really reached peak audience with your 100 listeners that you have, or your 1,000 listeners that you have, or maybe even your 100,000 listeners? Have you reached everyone you can? I mean, it's possible, depending on how niche your show is. And you know me, I'm a fan of going super niche on shows. But chances are, there's a simple and rather singular reason that that your show has stopped growing, and the secret's there in the people. It's because people have stopped recommending your show to other people. That's it. That's the reason, right? I mean, if people were continuing to recommend your show to other people they encounter, your show would continue to grow. We know that word of mouth is how discovery happens, and not just in podcasting, but just about every other form of media. And yes, of course, there are big, glitzy, and terribly expensive media campaigns, which help launch television shows, music, new movies, and of course, new podcasts. But we're not talking about launch. We're talking about sustained growth for an extant show. And if it's not growing, that means that your audience is no longer recommending your show to other people. So the question becomes, why aren't they recommending your show any longer? And I will agree with you, or concede the fact that that's a bigger question. It's something you're going to have to pontificate on your own for a while, especially if there is something in the way. There's something happening that's not resonating enough with your audience. That's maybe on you to sit and think about that. Now, Tom Webster had an amazing presentation at Podcast Movement 21 last week. It's not yet up. The final version has not yet been made available, but I watched it, loved it, and he gave 3 ways to increase what is known as what he calls the recommendability. I love that word. Of your podcast. I'm going to state them briefly here, and then I'm going to go through each one of them in detail for the rest of this week. So you know what you're getting yourself in for the remainder of this week on Podcast Pontifications. Now, in brief, here they are. Number 1, know what your listeners expect, and then how to deliver the unexpected. I'll talk about that tomorrow. Number 2, make your show easy to recommend. There are likely things you are doing that are getting in the way of that. I'll talk about that on Wednesday. And then number 3, master your craft. That will be the topic of Thursday's episode. I will dig into each of these, starting with the knowing what your listeners expect tomorrow. In the meantime, I have a weird request. It's a little strange for me. I'm researching sexy and sex-positive podcasts for a new project, and I'd love to add into my consideration set, my research set, any shows you might be passionate. See what I did there? Any shows you might be passionate about to my list. So if you listen to a sexy or a sex-positive podcast and you don't mind sharing the fact that you listen to those shows with me, please send an email to evo@simpler.media with the name of the show. Or you can DM me on Twitter. I'm at evoterra. And if you got any value out of today's show, talking about blaming your podcast audience for your slow growth, sort of. If you got value out of this conversation, please return some of that value by visiting buymeacoffee.com/evoterra and buying me a virtual coffee. Or 12. Sure, I'll take 12 coffees. That's fine. All right, that's it, everyone. Tomorrow I will get more into the topic of knowing what your listeners expect so you can then give them things that they don't expect. That's happening because I shall be back tomorrow with yet another podcast, Pontifications. Cheers.